In this demonstration, I'm going to show how to do a service run. So we click on routes, and then you click on the route you want to service. And then you'll be given a list of all your markets, and you get some parameters of current sold outs, the current fill level, days since the last service, and the action you're performing. By default, it should be service and collect. And to select markets to fill, you would tick them in the planned, and this then adds them to the route. So I can then undo that by pressing none. All right, so to start with, we want to ensure we got the correct day. So if we're going to visit the market tomorrow, we want to set tomorrow. This especially is important if you have the forecasting feature turned on, because the forecasting will then predict how many days' time you will be going to service the machine, and it will add extra products to pick. Make sure you've got the correct driver set. If you have your own truck, we'll pick our own truck. Use default for now. And then you can select the markets you want to service. So I'll just select the top two. And it shows them on the map. And next, in the bottom right, we press calculate route. It will then show you the best route from your warehouse, which market to go to first, second, and then your route back to your warehouse. Calculate PreKitting. PreKitting is the American term for picking. It then takes you to a screen where at the top of the screen, you've got the date in which you're going to service the market, how many locations, and then the top is a summary showing in bulk across 2 locations the total pick that needs to be picked, all items. And then as you scroll down, we get the detail. This one is for the Eastlink location, and it shows you exactly which assets need picking, double door fridge, and which items are going to go in the double door fridge. And then the snacks module, and then in this column bold is how many to add, and then you also can see the inventory, current quantity in the market, and then the Parlevel, what you want to fill to. And there's the breakdown for both markets. Here's the second market bev chain. All right, once you're happy with the pick, we then press on options, warehouse pre-kitting. Recommend picking in a browser window. Using a tablet is the easiest. If you don't have a tablet, it doesn't work very well on a mobile phone, and it's a bit too much information for the small mobile phone screen. So you could use your laptop, but ideally, please use a tablet. So first of all, it's asking us to pick for the bev chain Laverton market. Here's the list of items. And in this column, we can see the inventory and the Parlevel, so what we're filling to. So it's 1 of 8, need to pick 7. So based on this information, you can either pick the item or not pick the item. My advice would be generally don't bother picking 1s or 2s. Most markets, you'll need to go back there every 3 days if you have fresh food. So by the time you go back, maybe a few more items have depleted, and you can do a bigger pick to take to the market to be more efficient. Some items, you might have large quantities like chocolates, where you can let the pick run down a bit more. So let's just say you've got a box of 48 items of chocolates. You may want to start picking when it gets down to the last 15 items in the box. This way you can cycle your dates a bit better. So once you are ready to start picking, you adjust these numbers here. So you can either use plus or minus as to what you're picking. But if you are picking the amount it's asking you to pick, you can tick it off. So this tick and blue bar helps you know where you are as you get through the pick list. Your warehouse may be set up slightly different to the way the system asks you to pick. So you might be picking next the Pepsi Max Vanilla, and you know then you have to come back up to do the V Energy drink and the Schweppes lemonade. If you're not going to pick an item, you have to zero it out. This is very important. If you do not zero out, then the market assumes that you've taken that product to it, which will cause inventory issues when you're doing your stock takes. Again, I would tick these off as packed because you know exactly where you're at in the list. So you can work through this list, zeroing out items you're not going to pick, taking them off, and then adjusting any items you are picking. Once this is all done, you can simply just press pre-kit tote. This will then mark it as done. As you can see now, it's now moved us to the second location. So it's PreKitting 2 of 2. Again, same process. You can tick your way through the list, zeroing out items you're not going to pick and making your adjustments. And once you're finished again, you can do pre-kit tote. At this point, you'll notice it's marked green, saying this has now been pre-kitted and is ready to start. So if we go back to the route, we can see both of these locations are now ready to go. If you want to do another pick, and you can see, because we've got a pick open, we've just got this one that's ready to start. We just need to mark this one as started once the pre-kit is complete. So now in the bottom right, start route. This now allows me to create another planned service if I wanted to do a different location. So you'll notice that the pending locations, Eastlink and Laverton, which we just selected, these are pending a service, so we can't add that into another service until they're complete. So let's just, for an example, say we were going to do another pick on Monday at a different location. We could then pick Mulgrave and Airport, calculate route. Same process, the picking. But now we'll see I've got 2 routes open. One for Monday, which is ready to start picking. And then this one's now moved to pending services. We've told the market we've picked it. We're about to go to the market to do the next phase. If you decided you wanted to add any more locations, you can also add to route by pressing the green button, and then you could add another market to this service run for the day. If you want to cancel, that's fine. You can do it at this point before your driver reaches site. So you can just press the cancel button. And I'll cancel the second route I also did.